Hey guys, Chubzeeboi here, and today we're here for another Chubzeeboi Watches. It has been a long time since we managed to get one of these out. I've literally gone uber grey since the last time it came out. Things have changed. So yeah, so today we're watching a top 10 craziest Hoardings buried alive episode. I'm actually really looking forward to sorry about that. Looking forward to to be doing this again. It feels good. It feels good. So I think what we should do is get deep into the video. So let's start.
It may be hard, but some people take things a little too far. Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 craziest hoarding buried alive episodes. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the wildest episodes of TLC's Hoarding Buried Alive, either because the people featured had some of the worst clutter in the show's run, something crazy happened in the episode, or both. Number 10. This House Killed Her. The show is no stranger to emotional situations, but one of the most upsetting was in this season 4 episode. When the 65-year-old mother of 3 children passes away, it's down to the adult kids Amy, Cheryl, and Jimmy to clear out the clutter and prove that Mom owned her house in the aftermath of her death.
See, I understand, and this is only number 10. You know, I understand that in times things like this happen to people, but surely someone should have known. Surely someone should have known that the house was like this. Surely.
While Jimmy lived with their mother and knew the true extent of her hoarding problem, the two sisters had no idea. It's difficult to watch them come to terms with the way their mother lived and died, and even more so when the biohazard team begin to throw out all the deceased Cynthia's many possessions.
I just miss her so much. Yeah, and you loved her. She was my mom.
Number 9. 3 apartments, 3 hoarders.
These are all lesbian novels. They're going to your clubhouse.
How many lesbians we got here?
At least 4 to 6 that live here, couples.
In a first for hoarders.
What? What the hell? Oh, man. How can it be hoarders, though, like that? I don't know. See, I'm trying not to stop this as much, and I want to get it through, so I do apologise. But, damn.
Hoarding, this episode featured 3 hoarders all living in separate apartments in the same apartment building. Even more bizarre, the 3 of them were all completely unaware that they were living so close to people who suffered from the same problem. There are more lighthearted moments this time around, as one struggles to part with her collection of lesbian erotica, and many of the workers resort to throwing items out of the windows to get them out of the building.
We'll open up a lesbian friggin' library and donate it with your name on it.
Throughout the episode, tension remains high between the hoarding trio and the owner of the community complex, who desperately wants things cleaned up. Number 8. They're crawling. Audiences frequently find themselves...
Right. I understand that, and I understand the concept that he wants it done, and he, when you rent out or whatever, you expect them to look after it in such a way that they respect that property. But that's fair enough, but if you have more than one person or people living in different rooms and having the same problem, I don't know whether this is just a me, or wouldn't you try and do what you can to support them? Like, is he saying he didn't know, or is he saying that he did know? Because if he did know, maybe he could have got them all together, and maybe, I don't know, got them some help, or tried to help them, get them to communicate with each other. I don't know. Back.
Themselves wondering how the residents of these hellish homes managed to live in them without getting sick. And this became especially evident in Season 4, when 2 people working on TLC's cleanup crew contracted hantavirus while filming this episode. While not contagious from human to human, it spread through breathing in air contaminated by the virus, which comes from the fecal matter and urine of some rodents.
Hantavirus is a disease which is spread by rodents, and when you go through processes like cleaning a home, sweeping, vacuuming, these sorts of things, it goes into the air.
Kay's home was absolutely riddled with pests, including snakes and possums, and the worst part of it all, she would still barely admit that she had a problem, even when her own home had to be completely quarantined.
I lived with that stuff for 10 years. It was, at one point, something important to me.
Number 7.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but surely, like, we all have things that are important, yes, but come on. The fact that you live in there and it actually physically makes you ill and has some kind of virus, surely you would just do something. And I know they are. Oh, I complain when my living room, sorry, my carpet in my living room has a little bit of dirt on it. You know, or I've got a few things that I'll probably keep thinking, oh, do you know what, I'm probably going to need it. But, goddamn, come on.
Full of rats. Kay may have been playing host to an array of furry friends, but hoarder Michelle took that to a whole new level in her aptly titled episode. Property investors want to buy her home, but soon discover that Michelle's problem has damaged the house to its core as it is absolutely teeming with rats.
We pulled out big rats, small rats, medium-sized rats, spiders, and a bevy of other little flying creatures, and of course, a possum.
She's also technically homeless, but seems unable to accept it as a team tries to help her. But
oh, man, I'm sorry. But come on. Come on. How can you get yourself that bad? I don't know how you can physically get yourself. Like, I understand there are things where that can create that can put you into that mindset. But come on, this bad? No. No, I'm sorry, but I have no sympathy in this end. Unless there's a legitimate reason to why you hoard in so much crap to the point where it's touching the bloody ceiling. No, I'm sorry, but just, making me feel sick.
But perhaps the episode's worst moment comes at the beginning as Michelle gives a tour of her kitchen, showing the filthy pots and pans she still uses to cook with to the cameras.
Oh, pots and pans are in the kitchen. I use this to make quiche.
Come on, woman. Are you serious? Oh, my lord. And that was just at the beginning when she's admitting she uses her... Oh, come on now.
Number 6. You're not taking my kids. Karen isn't the only victim of her hoarding. Her 2 young sons are quoted as saying they feel trapped in her nightmarish home.
I think my mom might struggle with hoarding. I feel like I'm trapped inside.
The episode begins with the kids being taken away by Child Protective Services because of concern for their well-being,
well,
with Karen offered the ultimatum that if she
right.
doesn't clean up her act within 48 hours, she will not regain custody of her boys. But the situation is also notable for reducing psychologist Dr. Becky Beaton to tears when she sees the sick and neglected family dog soon rehomed by the SPCA. Number 5. Worst I've ever seen.
Come on.
Kieran's home was thrown into crisis when local officials told her they would tear down her property for not being up to code.
My obsession is keeping things, buying things.
While investigating, they found it severely damaged without running water and full of cat feces. One code enforcer couldn't even stand to be in the building without throwing up. Kieran's realization that the home her parents built could be condemned is heartbreaking. Meanwhile, in the same episode, Teresa struggles to balance her shopping compulsion with her chronic fatigue syndrome, meaning her house is completely overrun with junk and her illness renders her unable to clean.
It's just
Okay.
kind of filled
illness.
with a lot of
Sometimes
stuff.
It does.
Number 4. I can't
But then
breathe.
use your
Another
brain.
mother at risk of losing custody of her child was Lorena, whose own sister was attempting to have 10-year-old Alexia put into her care.
I'm sorry, but if you have kids, why put your kids through this? Even at a young age, why? You know, I don't have kids, but I couldn't imagine myself, I feel myself getting angry about this, I couldn't imagine myself having kids and having my house so goddamn untidy that it makes them ill, it gets them bullied, they then struggle to live a normal life because this is something that affects them later on. I mean, at the minute my conservatory is doing my head in because I've just got a new sofa, so I've had to put it in there. And that does my head in, just a sofa and the chairs do my head in. But to simply put kids through this, I can see why they look, you have 2-3 days to get this sorted. If you don't get it sorted, then that's it, you lose your kids. And so be it, because they could go to someone that will actually look after their kids and not put them through that. Come on.
Out of concern for the child's well-being.
That child deserves better.
Lorena's hoarding has tragic beginnings, all stemming from when her ex-boyfriend brutally assaulted and raped her 5 years earlier in her own front garden, even slitting her throat. However, this is one unfortunate story that actually has a happy ending. Lorena managed to completely turn her life around, separating from her hoard and keeping it under control, prioritizing her young daughter's safety and quality of life above all else.
I probably wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for one of my daughters. She's safe.
Right. I do kind of understand that. That is a traumatic experience to have to go through something like that. And the fact that this is something that's positive at the end, you know, she sorted herself out, took priority of her health and her kids, you know, that is fantastic. But also when you realise that, you know, and it's not easy, and I know this, it's not easy just to go out for help. I understand that. But when you know it's affecting your own, kids' lives as well, I don't know. I apologise if anything that I say does trigger anyone. I fully apologise, and this is just my opinion. But let's go through this. Let's finish this off.
Saved me.
Number 3, Is That a Goat? A show with no shortage of horrors reaches extremes with Joyce and her collection of antique dolls. When her marriage fell apart, she turned to the dolls for comfort. And despite running out of money and losing her job, she continues to buy as many of these dolls as she can get her hands on.
I like dolls that smile, especially when you have a lot of depression.
No. Don't think so. It would, if I walked into there and there was that doll smiling at me, I'm out of there. I'm gonna run out there quicker than anything. I've seen Chucky. I've seen Annabelle. I know what shit is coming. Simple as that.
Stuff. It's nice to have someone or even something smiling at you all the time.
The episode's other hoarder is Donnie, a retired Marine who doesn't just have his own personal junkyard, but also a lively herd of goats.
Is that a fire truck?
That's a fire truck.
Is that a goat?
Yep. I got about 10 of them in there.
But Donnie feels under siege from the county, from which he has amassed thousands in fines and 2 jail sentences. Number 2, just tear it down. Kieran's neglected dog may have ultimately been adopted by a vet after being removed from her home and given to animal control, but the outcome wasn't nearly so pleasant for Doug and Darlene's.
Did I catch that right? Was that a dead cat? Oh, how? Oh, let's just go back in.
Been adopted by a vet after being removed from her home and given to animal control, but the outcome wasn't nearly so pleasant for Doug and Darlene's missing cat. Sickeningly, in this episode, the cat's mummified remains were found trapped underneath a heavy dresser, where it had perished 2 years earlier.
2 years. But that is Rat Cat. The hardest moment was when we found the Rat Cat. She wasn't even the cat, she was our...
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do whatever you
want. And that's not the worst of it. They also have a broken septic tank, which means the house is steadily overflowing with raw sewage and human waste, to the point where demolition seems like a better option than attempting to clean. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
It has to change. It has to change. I can't live like this. And I need some help to fix it.
The city declared her home unlivable, and the power, gas, and water were shut off.
I've actually seen this episode.
Just thing on top of thing on top of thing.
You've got a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
Number 1, sleeping in a dumpster.
Old milk. This one is from June, so that's like 7 months, 7 months ago.
Inarguably the craziest episode of all, stubborn hoarders and deadly clutter weren't the only dangers people had to worry about. Laura is attempting to clean her home with the help of her sons and the show's crew, but their lives are threatened when a fire breaks out in her garbage-filled kitchen.
Whoa, hey! Guys, help me out here. Help me out. Water!
Holy
Somebody mistakenly turns on the stove, which is covered in newspapers and other flammable materials, leaving them struggling to extinguish the fire, or else the entire house will go up in flames. They eventually manage to stop the blaze, but it makes for one of the most intense moments in the show's whole run.
I mean, it could have gotten ugly real fast. And what's on the floor? Trash, papers, plastic. I mean, done.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Ms. Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
But seriously, guys, like, I think sometimes you really have to, like, it's saddening, really, that this does go on, and some people go on and on for years and struggle to get the help because they either don't want to show that they need the help or anything like that. But please, come on, think about have a look at what you're doing, and help, push for help if you can. But yeah, but this has been Chubzeeboi, and hit that like button if you'd like to see more. Hit that subscribe button if you'd like to be subscribed to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications when I'm going live. So if you'd like to see more of these videos in the future, then hit that like button. Thank you very much, and peace.